Have you ever stopped to think, what's the most underrated game genre? Co-op, baby! Co-op is one of the most underrated and underexplored game genres. I say this because the only companies that even dare to make a true co-op experience are indie companies. And while understandable that the big ones can't really take the risk of not making something generic, it's really sad to see the originality fade away as the new Call of Duty rolls in. But hey, this is what the people want, right? Why be original when you can just share out yet another corporate sludge and have people still buy it for some reason? Alright, back on subject. But first, what exactly is the co-op genre and what do I mean by a true co-op experience? Co-op is an abbreviation for cooperation, which means to cooperate or work together. And while you could classify pretty much any game that has multiplayer teams as co-op, what I mean by a true co-op experience are games where you can only really play if you work together with your friends. So games like Unrailed, the co-op campaign of Portal 2 and the We Were Here series. So, let's take a look at some absolute bangers in the genre, shall we? Portal 2 was my first experience with co-op. I remember playing it with my brother and absolutely loving it. If you somehow don't know about Portal, this game's about... Wait, what was it? Ah, yes. An AI that is keeping you imprisoned in the Aperture laboratories for endless testing.
And portals!
Even after 12 years, this game is still very relevant. Which, I mean, is it really surprising coming from Valve? I don't think they ever made a bad game. Portal 2 has two campaigns. The single-player one, that explains what happens to Chell after she is pulled back to the Aperture laboratories, and the co-op one, where you can play with a friend as these two bots, Atlas and Peabody. The co-op campaign takes place right after Portal 2, and it tilts more into comedy than the main story campaign, taking itself less seriously and even somewhat breaking the fourth wall by having GLaDOS complain about the human nature of Atlas and Peabody.
It appears you're developing human traits. The worst human traits.
And if you're somehow not satisfied, this game has countless test chambers created by the community in the community workshop. But the one thing I would love to highlight here is a mod. It was originally supposed to be single player only, but the developer came out with a co-op mode seemingly out of nowhere in June of 2023. The name of the mod? Portal Reloaded. Thinking in 4 dimensions. The fourth dimension being time. Yes, you heard me right. Fucking time. There's a third green portal now that transports you into the same position 20 years in the future. This creates extremely mind-bending puzzles that really scratch the itch for a truly difficult Portal experience. In the single-player mode, your portal gun can shoot all 3 portals, but in the co-op mode, one player controls 2 portals while the other one controls the green portal. I'll leave a link in the description if you would like to check it out for yourself. It's completely free and one of, if not the best mod for Portal 2. This was the intro to the first game of what is now a 5-game series, We Were Here. The following games in this series continue to follow this general aesthetic. A group of explorers wander inside Castle Rock and get stuck in there, having to solve puzzles to escape. In We Were Here, both explorers are equipped with a trusty walkie-talkie, making it slightly harder to communicate with each other. At first, I thought the walkie-talkies were just a cheap way to make the game unnaturally harder, but upon trying it out, I found out it really immerses you in the game, which is also something Total Mayhem does really well. Now, going back to the first entry to the series, which is free to play by the way, while it is still really good, it's just a shadow of what the following games in this series have to offer. I feel like it is really important for me to talk about this, because the first game is very unpolished, which might deter some people from the whole series, but with every single following game, Total Mayhem drastically improved quality, that being graphics, how fun the puzzles are, the storytelling, and just general final polish on the game. The We Were Here series also has a different type of approach to the puzzle genre, that being that every single puzzle is completely different, every single one. They don't add a new feature like a new item or a new power-up, they just create completely new mechanics, keeping a refreshing feel throughout the whole experience. If you want to play a game listed in this video, I seriously urge you to try the whole series out, and maybe it will make you fall in love with the genre, just like it did to me. Do you like trains? Would you like to see what it's like to lose your friendships over lost buckets? That was definitely your friend's job to pay attention to and not yours, but really it was all your fault, so now you're just gaslighting your friends for the memes. Then Unrailed is for you. In Unrailed, you can play alone or with up to 4 players, and your objective is to not let the train go unrailed.
Whoa, he said the name of the game!
And you do that by placing new rails in front of the track. To make new rails, you must first collect iron and wood. You must then deliver these resources to the train's box wagon. The train will then create new rails from this that you can place in front of the track, ultimately redirecting the train to the next station, where you can enter a shop and buy new wagons or upgrade the ones you already have using bolts. You can get up to 3 bolts between stations. One is always guaranteed in each station, another one always spawns somewhere for you to go and collect, and the last one you get by completing the optional quest. This creates a choose your own risk and reward situation, where the players have to decide if it is worth the risk to go for more bolts, or if you should just play safe and recollect yourselves in the next station. The only criticism I would make of this game is that it unfortunately does not have good replayability. Between all the wagons in the game, they are either extremely good or extremely bad, and there aren't that many of them to begin with, making the build variety very limited. That being said, however, if you just intend on playing the game casually and don't really care about completing all the achievements, you won't really feel the lack of replayability. All in all, if you're just looking for a game to have a LAN party, this is the game for you. Also, as a side note, Unrailed 2 is coming out this year. I will definitely be doing a review in the future and... Holy shit, it has boss battles? What?! In Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime, the whole galaxy lives in harmony, due to a force known as love, or whatever that is. But then, the dark forces of anti-love destroyed the Ardor reactor, ripping a hole in spacetime itself. So now, you and your friends must travel through space to defeat the 4 bosses and get back the Ardor reactor part so it starts working again and brings back love to the galaxy. Now that I think about this, how exactly does the Ardor reactor even work? Well, anyways, in LiaDS, you can play alone or with up to 4 players in a ship specifically engineered to be the worst possible ship in existence. But that is what makes the game fun. The layout of the ships makes for the perfect panic-inducing friend-losing alien space fighting experience. There are multiple ships to unlock and choose from, but the first one, Gumball Zero, is this one, that just looks like the Death Star if Darth Vader was an e-girl. It features 4 weapons that cost $400,000 to fire for 12 seconds, a shield control on the bottom right, a special control on the top left, a map viewer on the top right, and, located in the center, a controller for the booster. Each of the stations need a player to operate, making it so you have to be agile in changing positions to what might be needed at that time, that being changing weapons to reach an enemy that isn't in range of a current weapon, or if you need to defend against an attack using the shield. During gameplay, you can find gems that you can use on any station to improve it. Each station can take any combination of 1 or 2 gems that changes how the station works. Take the turret for example, add a beam gem to it and it turns into a railgun. Add an iron gem instead and it turns into a flail. Add both and it turns into a laser spewing iron ball of death. Something that I absolutely love the developers for doing is that they are very generous with the amount of gems that you get, making it so you have plenty of opportunity in trying out every combination to see what seems the most fun. Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime is another great game for our LAN party, same as Unrailed. So if you ever intend on having one, be sure to add this one to the list too. During this video, we looked at what one of my favorite game genres looks like, but why exactly is it one of my favorites? Well, it has something to do with my love for puzzles and cracking my skull trying to figure out a problem. And in co-op games, there's a cooperative effort between all players to brainstorm and come up with strategies to beat whatever level they're facing, and that's what I personally love about it. Another thing that I like about it is that it promotes innovation, it promotes new innovative ways to make a game, which is not something particular to the co-op genre, it's evident in pretty much any non-mainstream genre. I love video games, it's something I'm passionate about. So, if we share the same passion, I would really appreciate it if you could kindly share this video with someone, as it took a very long time to make and, who knows, maybe you get a new co-op partner. Please subscribe as there are new videos coming, and thank you very much for watching. That just looks like the Death Star if Darth Vader was an e-girl.